Welcome to Behind the Scenes. Day 2 of the U.S. Championships just happened. We found out who made it to Olympic trials, which petitions were accepted, who didn't make it, who should have. We're going to discuss all of it. Welcome to the #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica. I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation, where if you want to look up any skill at all, there's a clickable code of points with GIFs and information about that skill. It's very, very helpful. I use it often. This is our immediate reaction right after watching the meet, going to the press conference, and running back here to record before we have time to do our deep, deep analysis and of the meet. If you're a club member, make sure to switch over to your members only feed for the full podcast, instructions on the forums, links in the show notes on how to join live, all of that stuff. The show is PG-14 because of feelings, so there might be naughty words. And today is June 2nd. Some updates before we start.
Okay.
I am aware of everything going on with the men's judging panel deduction, and I am looking into it. Also, this is only a matter of time if you've listened to all the years of us talking about the issues with men's judging. So that is on my radar. Today's theme was who did not fall on beam? Who did not fall on beam?
That was Simone didn't fall. Suni didn't fall. Skye didn't fall.
Is there something wrong with the beam? Simone and Skye did not fall. DiCello did not fall.
She stayed on mostly. She stayed on. It was a stay on. It was a stay on routine. Yeah. But I'm definitely ready to hear, like, in about 16 hours, the coaches being like, the beam was crooked. You could tell. Probably. The beam was bowed and crooked, and there was a hurricane in the middle of it, and it's
unacceptable. The floor was wobbly. Shilese Jones' petition was accepted. She made national team and is going to Olympic trials. Kaliya Lincoln's petition was accepted. She is on national team and therefore going to Olympic trials. Yes. So this is a very interesting situation because there have been similar. This is a total departure from past petition situations. Most recently, the Tokyo petition debacle under Tom Forster.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about, because my contention, feel free to push back, is that if this were 2021, Kaliya Lincoln would not be going to trials.
Yep.
I think that she could have petitioned, it would not have been accepted. Because really, what's the difference between her situation right now and Morgan Hurd in 2021? Other than that, Morgan Hurd did her 2 events both days. But it seems like that would have been like, thanks for playing, Kaliya, see you later. And so maybe a sign of, like, progress, because it's good. She should be at Olympic trials if she's healthy, able to compete, given the opportunity, because, you know, the U.S. is still looking for a floor score to potentially go with Simone and Shai if she's okay, and Kaliya can do that. So she has an in, she has a possibility. I think it's a long shot at this point, but you want her there. So I think that's a positive. And it means that we didn't really have any snub controversies in terms of who is going to Olympic trials.
No,
there are people like, if it were me and I were just picking, I would be like, okay, Jayla Hang's potential. I want to see her at Olympic trials. But, you know, she didn't have a great competition for her and had the opportunity, you know, to get the scores and had falls and that kind of thing. So I don't think there's a controversy really there.
Yeah, let's talk about who made it. So the national
top 14,
so the top
all
14,
around.
Yeah, so it was Simone Biles, Skye Blakely in second with a 56.8, 57 the first day. And she said that was her goal, to get a 56 both days. She's really happy. Kayla DiCello with a 56 and then a 53 today, not her best day. Suni Lee would have been tied Kaliya for third-ish if she hadn't fallen, which she was very excited to know she would have had that fall.
Yeah.
I was like, I think you would be second. But
not second, but she would have been, you know, if she hadn't fallen. But then you can also play like if Kayla DiCello hadn't fallen.
Right. I mean, but I was like, you're going to be higher up there, Suni, basically. And she was very, very happy because it's basically her first all-around meet this weekend.
I mean, she should be thrilled with, you can get a 12-1 on vault and still finish 4th all around.
Right.
On an event, like a fall on an event that doesn't really matter for her at all, and shouldn't be taken into account at all. But, you know, still be 4th all around. She should be thrilled.
Jordan Chiles 5th. Hesley Rivera made it in 6th. Jade Carey 7th. Leanne Wong is 8th. 9th is Sumana Sacra, which would put her in the that would be, if this were the Olympic trials, this would be the team with the alternates. And then Josc Roberson had the meet of her life. Zoe Maluma, which I'm so excited because I love her gymnastics. Simone Rose, teammate of Jayla Hang, with the great floor routine. Evie Lowe, and then Dulcie Kaler rounding it out. I mean, five gymnasts from WCC, which my question is, who won the meet? WCC? Did I answer my own question?
I mean, the answer to who won the meet is Simone, because she won the meat.
Right.
But it was a better day for world champions overall. I mean, maybe just for Josc. Maybe that's coloring it, because Josc Roberson, who, after day one, we were having the, is she even going to make trials conversation? And then she looked, really back to a large extent back to how she looked last year during the process. The chung was still a little better last year than it was today, especially, but it was a really good day for her. And she got up into, it's not even a question that she's going to make trials based on today's performance. And actually, top 5 highest scoring team on day 2, Josc is on it to do floor. She got a 14, by the way. But
that's the thing. I was like, oh, most improved award goes to Josc Roberson. Like, what happened between, I didn't get to talk to her after. So my question would have been, what has happened between day 1 and day 2? Because you were like, oh, wait, this is my only shot I have to hit now. Also, I wanted to update, Trinity Thomas did just try bars, and she did well. She did a good bar routine. She had to, I don't know if she had to tuck her feet on her shaposh, or she did it because she was like, my ankle can't take it. But she went out like a total champion. Like, that's amazing that she was able to do bars and, showed grit. Is there, in terms of who made it to trials, let's talk about that and see. There's no one in the top 10 who didn't make it on the events, that didn't make it to trials, except Reese, right? In terms of a top 10 scenario. Oh, and Jayla for vault, and Reese for
floor.
Reese was in the top 10 for floor. Yeah. So that's not very I mean, I think the really hopeful thing for me is this is a different group doing the selection, and they understand the importance of the highest scoring team, not the rank order. God, Spencer, don't ruin my dreams. And I'm saying that because Skye and Kaliya, Kaliya is not someone you're going to use an all around, but you could use her an all around. But she's someone you're going to want on floor, and potentially beam, depending on how she does. So I'm encouraged.
Well, so if she's vaulting, she has a great Yurchenko double full. So,
yes.
But it's, there are a lot of great Yurchenko double fulls in the group of possibilities. So,
Simone made her mount connection this time, so she didn't have to do her backup. She had a step forward on beam. Sorry, yeah. What else do you mount? Bars? There's really no connections on bars. I asked her today because she looked so annoyed before bars. So annoyed. So I was like, Simone, how do you really feel about bars? And she got kind of defensive, and she was like, I'm good. I used to be bad. Everybody used to tell me, but now I can make a fine. I was like, no, I know. You just looked extra angry before bars, so annoyed. And she's like, oh, I just need to make sure I hit. And I was like, oh, I totally understand. Angry Simone.
Yeah, she was coming off vault where she sat down her Yurchenko double pike. Of course she was like, I'm focused now.
It was a graceful roll, which is always the correct mistake to make on a Yurchenko double pike, because being short could mean certain death. So rolling out was excellent, and she could totally afford to do that. She didn't get a 60 today, right?
No, but she did get a 15 on vault with a fall. So
yeah, which is why roll all you want, save your ankles forever. Why even bother landing? You do have to land feet first, but and she had an out of bounds on floor, which I saw the close-ups of floor the first day. She clearly was not out of bounds. But today...
Okay, this is the thing, though. Because I was not contending that she was out of bounds on her... I was not contending she was out of bounds on her first pass on day 1. I was contending she was out of bounds on her Biles 1.
Which one did she do the stag out of?
The Biles 1. That's what I thought she was out of bounds on day 1.
Okay, I don't remember now, but I did see whatever. Someone tweeted us a picture to defend you, but then I just drew the white lines, and I was like, oh, she's clearly in. If you draw the lines on the floor. You can't.
All I read was Spencer is vindicated, and then I didn't continue reading or look at the picture because I got what I wanted out of that message, which is I agree with Spencer, and I was like, that's all I need.
Simone also mentioned Twitter, and part of her mental health journey is not paying attention to people that think they're journalists but aren't journalists, or think they're coaches and aren't coaches. And I was like, yep, there you go. I also did see, do you see the Simone freaking Biles banner behind Vault? Shout out to those folks. You can get this in our store. It's called a tapestry, but you will find it there, and it's amazing. And I hope we see one in Paris, or I'll bring one to give to someone. Suni, what a freaking hero!
Yeah, fell on an irrelevant event, so we don't count that. Who cares about Vault for her?
Like, what do you think? The people that were like, "Oh, she's just a specialist." Like me, who constantly was like, if she can't do all around Chelsea, will you still take her? Chelsea was like, it's a puzzle. I can't tell you yet, but she'd have to be top 2 in 2 events. What are those people saying now, Spencer?
Well, it's an irrelevant classification, whether someone's an all-arounder or a specialist. She's still in a position where I would, like, on an Olympic team, I would not put her up on vault or floor in qualification.
No.
So if you want to say that means she's a specialist, sure. But she's also doing the all-around and scoring very well. So
my specialist is like a Netarosik. I only do floors.
Yeah.
And yes,
then no, because she's doing vault and floor.
Right. So she's not a specialist. But yeah, Beam 14-9 with an 8-2, an 8-2 execution, as if she is an Italian on floor. An 8-2 execution on Beam. It's just so tidy and nice.
I think that's the thing. That Beam score puts her on every highest scoring team based on today, even with the bars composition she showed today. Yep. And falling on vault. So I think she's in a very good position.
Yep. Skye, we were worried because we're like, Skye's really good, but she keeps falling on stuff. Skye was like, I don't fall anymore. I don't know who you're talking about. That never happened. Took second.
Well, that really only happens at Worlds, though.
It does only happen at Worlds.
She's still like, I'm fine hitting domestically, but yeah. So, classic,
but
good improvement on floor from day one. That was a very pretty close to what the people who were trying to get on the team for floor do. She beat Jade on floor. So that was good for her. The Chung was not as strong as it was on the first day. She landed short, chest down, 14-4 compared to 15. Still, you take a 4, if you're Skye, you're like, yeah, I didn't really hit the Chung. I still got the same score as a good Yurchenko double full. So I think that's still comfortable, and still you have time to work on it, peak toward trials, toward the Olympics. So I think that's still a solid position.
I asked her
she's staying on.
I asked her specifically about doing the Chung and when she first did it on hard and why she decided this meet. And I was like, was it you or was it your coach that decided? And she said, this meet is the first time she's done it on hard. So on hard, you guys means not in a pit or with extra pillowy mats. Basically you're not doing it into a surface that you're doing a surface that you can land straight up and down and stick on. But she did say that she was doing it on higher mats than the landing surface. And this is what I always say, you should be able to do it on a higher surface than when you're going to land, because you never want to land short on this. So how amazing that this is the first time she hadn't even done it in practice, that she did it on hard surfaces. And also a testament to her coaches trying to save her body too. So I'm super stoked for her. But go ahead, Beam. She stayed on.
Yeah. So obviously there was no problem, no curse of Beam today. Skye stayed on. Another good 14. Ashley says, love Skye. Her stock went up more than anyone here. I am nervous about her lack of international consistency.
Hopefully she's like, I don't know her. I'm ready to go now. It's the Olympics. DiCello coming in third. She has also erased the mistakes of Classic. Classic is like a beginner baby meet. You're just practicing. I mean, she had one fall. It was weird, though.
I was going to say, that's true. That was true about day one. Today looked more like Classic.
everywhere? No, it was better.
No, floor was fine. Floor was
Floor?
solid today,
Yeah,
but
she
she
had a
fell on
little-
bars and had a large error on beam and scored more than a point lower than she
Wait,
did on
didn't
the
she
first.
fall on beam? Hold on. Didn't she fall?
DiCello, no, she had that huge error on her series.
Okay, who
Wobble,
fell on their
wobble,
wolf
wobble,
term?
wobble. Leanne.
Oh, it was Leanne. Oh, I'm looking at my notes for Leanne. That's why. It's literally not DiCello. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. Leanne fell because I'm in my head. I was like, wait, there was a squat position. Arms went back. It was Leanne. See, I've erased it. Okay.
But even though DiCello got a low score on beam, I want to give her the composition of the award of the day for not doing that stupid split leap fall / torch tie half today.
Thank you so much. I was so pleased when that came out. I was like, yes, she didn't do it. She didn't do it.
I know. And it's like, now it's like, there was no reward for taking it out because she had a big error elsewhere and the score was low. I'm like, I wanted her to soar above her previous score because the composition was improved.
Leanne Wong hit bars. Beam had the Wolf of Funkify fall.
Yeah.
That was weird. And then she had a big stumble out of her 2.5 dismounts, which somehow she saved falling forward. I was amazed. I just feel like
She's
her legs.
Leanne. She can always fake a landing.
Yeah, exactly. And then she hit floor. Vault, she also had like a weird, it almost looked like her feet got stuck in the crinkly part of the mat. It was odd the way she landed, the way I was looking at it. But she seemed highly annoyed, which always bodes well.
Yeah.
For Leanne. Jade. Who came in next? Let's go in order. Hesley.
Oh, we've gone way out of order.
Oh,
well, Jordan Chiles would be. We haven't. If we're going in all around order, we have to talk about Jordan Chiles, another person who the result is going to look not great because she fell on beam, but her performance on the more important events today was an improvement, and that 14-1 on floor, which I have some questions about the D score. I have some issues.
On what specifically?
Because it looks like to me like she got credit for the 1.5 turn, the Gojin. And I'm like, absolutely not.
Oh, yeah. The Gojin.
So I have an issue with that. But I think comparatively, like I thought all the floor scores, like why was the note that they took from day one that the floor scores were too low and they needed to be higher? I'm like, no. I felt like all of the floor scores were kind of inflated today. So ranking wise, when we saw DiCello, well, actually had some landing errors and improved her score on the first day, then Chiles routine should have been ahead of DiCello's. Her tumbling landings were superior, and I had things on the dance elements, but I think overall Chiles should have been ahead of DiCello on floor today. So that at least is something. And that's what puts, if you were doing highest scoring team based on better score of the 2 days at Nationals, Jordan Chiles would be on it. If you're doing average, DiCello would be on it for floor.
Yeah.
Which is the boon for DiCello, even though she had trouble on bars and beam today, is if you have full strength Simone, Shilese, Skye, and Suni on a team, you don't need DiCello to do bars and beam. Yep. She's not doing bars and beam on those teams. So that's what still helps her. That if those other people are doing well, it really, if you're actually putting together a highest scoring team, it really still comes down to vault and floor for DiCello, and she did very well both days on those events.
Back to Jordan for a second. I was waiting to ask her a question about this. I don't know if you saw the cape / rain jacket rain trench coat that she was wearing. It was a whole look. I'm obsessed with it. I was waiting to ask her about it because she'd have a long backstory about how Beyonce inspired her in this video with this song. But she owns horses and has cattle. Did you know this about her? No. Her family's from New Mexico, and they're like cattle ranchers or something. So anyway, she just wants to establish her roots as a cowgirl, and now we know. Okay. So Hesley Rivera.
Very important information.
Yeah, Hesley Rivera came in 6th, and I think if you look at her in this position, if this were trials, and we'll imagine Shilese is back in Kaliya, this puts her in a good position because you possibly want to use her on beam. That is where she offers when she hits it, it's a good thing.
Another very good day for her. I'm so pleased that she hit a consistent competition. And I think that bodes well for her moving forward. I think for me, when you're putting together a team, she doesn't necessarily get into a put her up on an event situation, but I think she's positioning herself very well as a possible alternate.
Yep. I do want to welcome all of our new listeners, because as it happens during these big meets, we had a lot of new listeners from all over the world. Welcome everyone from England. Where else do we have? London, Canada. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us. So we do this all year long, not every week, not just during the Olympics. We'll be at trials in Paris. We're going to cover the pro league and NCAA season and all the elites that go. We have a fantasy gymnastics league. We'll have one again for trials. We do live shows. We have a newsletter, forum, message board where people meet each other. People created their own meetup and all hung out at the watch together. So if you like our coverage, please consider joining Club Gym Nerd. You get a ton of bonus content. You get an additional podcast every single week, and you can hear behind the scenes things like what's it like to do this for a living, what happens, and all the things, all the travel related stories that Spencer's like, this is why I don't go anywhere. And you get like dossiers and stuff like that. So please check it out at GymCastic.com. Join the club tab. And I do have an extra bonus behind the scenes story for you guys, related specifically to Simone Biles. Also, our live show has sold out. Our live show, the most tickets ever. Live show at Olympic Trials has sold out. Thank you so much, you guys. This helps us so much fund ourselves to be able to go to Paris and cover the Olympics from there. Virtual tickets are still available. So if you can't go in person, get a virtual ticket. You can still get those. Okay, so this is where our journey ends for our non-member listeners, and for our members, I'm going to tell you what happened with Simone. So after Suni vaulted, Simone walks over to her. You hear the rest. Join Club Gym Nerd.